Welcome to Tov Jewish News Channel. With us today is Moshik Kovarsky, a high-tech entrepreneur. Moshik, we have seen on the 27th of November a visit of Elon Musk in Israel. Musk has done a very interesting visit. He has first visited the surrounding area around the Gaza Strip. He has visited all the settlements that have been attacked on the horrible attack of the 7th of October. And then he went to the Knesset where he saw the movie, with all the photo evidence and video evidence from the massacre of the 7th of October. And then he had a meeting both firstly with Benjamin Netanyahu and then with Benny Gantz. What would you say is the significance of that meeting? What was the meaning behind that, and how would that affect Israel in the future?
Yes, he also met with the President Herzog. We should mention that too, and with families of the hostages that are held in Gaza. Very heartwarming visit. And he put the name tag on his neck, like we do often, in order to remember these hostages and hoping that they'll be back. We have to remember that 2 months ago, approximately a moment before the war, it seemed like ages ago, Musk met with Benjamin Netanyahu in California in the headquarters of Tesla, and they had a very interesting discussion about artificial intelligence with senior members of his management team of OpenAI, and they discussed the implications of AI on the world in general, on security, on prosperity. And that was in the background of the venture that we were talking about a lot then, about opening the markets of the East through a special train that goes through Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, etc. And the goal for that meeting back then was to enlist Musk and his companies to come and invest in Israel. And he does recognize that Israel has one of the best reservoirs of high-tech brains in the world, and he's familiar with that. So he really would like to join with Israeli high-tech industry. And we have to remember that Musk is way beyond X and Twitter, what used to be called Twitter. He has many companies, starting with, of course, SpaceX for space exploration, Tesla, the famous car, a company called Neuralink that tries to understand the brain and to act accordingly, a company called Boring Companies for, for tunneling and creating a transportation system, a company for solar batteries, many companies, and of course OpenAI, which is the leader for artificial intelligence. So that was the background for the meeting then. Now, you ask yourself, why would he come now? So first of all, we have to say great thank you for him for coming, because I'm sure a lot of Americans consider Israel now too dangerous to travel to. And of course, we have now very good security here, and we do feel safe. But for someone who comes from the United States, the richest person in the world, it's quite an endeavor to come here and meet with the leadership of Israel. He came here to show support, so I'll give him that first of all. It's very important in this time that the high-tech community will get the visibility that Israel, right now we are fighting for our life basically, but we are confident that we will win. And after the war, as we say here at 6, after the war, there will be high-tech industry, there will be investments, there will be developments, there will be as Israel always did, helping the world for creating prosperity. And Musk can play a big part in it. We will remember fondly the friends that came here in a time of need. As they say, a friend in need is a friend indeed. So him coming here is very important. It's also important in light of all the vicious propaganda against Israel. People are not ashamed to spread around the message like there were not all the atrocities on the 7th of October. They're trying to put it on the IDF, falsely, of course. And it's important that someone of his caliber, with 160 million followers on Twitter, which when he says that he saw it in his own eyes and he understands and sympathizes with Israel, this is extremely important for our PR abroad and to spread the truth. So obviously we see it in a very favorable eye.
How do you understand Musk's expression that he will rebuild Gaza after the war? How do you see that, and what form will that take? Will he help the Palestinian Authority, or what does he mean by that? For you as a person that understands Musk.
Right. So we have to understand that this was the third step of three steps that he mentioned. And this is the right order of things. These are not steps in parallel. They should be in line. The first one is to eliminate the bad guys, meaning destroy Hamas. Because without it, you will have nothing. Hamas is like ISIS. They're hell-bent to kill Jews. They're hell-bent to destroy Israel. There's no negotiations with someone who tries to kill you and destroy you. And therefore, Israel has no choice but to take this war to its end until Hamas surrender, whether it takes a month, 6 months, or a year. And Musk recognizes that without eliminating Hamas, nothing can be done. And then he mentioned the second step, which is extremely important, and that is it's not enough to do this. We also need to change the education so kids are not growing up to hate. Similarly to processes that happened in Nazi Germany after the Second World War, where there was denazification, or changing the culture of Japan after the Second World War. Two cultures which people think cannot be changed, but they were changed. They were changed, and they are now peace-loving countries. So he said that the education needs to be worked on in order to change this propaganda, this vicious, hateful propaganda that kids in the Palestinian territories are brought up from young age. And then, and only then, he's talking about prosperity and rebuilding the Gaza Strip. But he doesn't go into details who will be the custodian of this effort. This will be something that will have to be worked out in the future. Of course, Palestinian Authority, which pays murderer according to the number of people they murdered, and that educates children from young age to kill, they cannot be a right partner to take the Gaza Strip, nor can they, because as we see today in Judea and Samaria, what used called falsely the West Bank, in Judea and Samaria, without us controlling Hamas there, they would have not even one day in power. They would do to them what they did to them in the Gaza Strip, where they threw them off the roofs. So obviously we need Israel to maintain security control over the Gaza Strip day after. And as far as who will manage the administrative affairs and the education and everything, that remains to be seen.
So, if we look at Musk's, statements on Israel, there was two chronologically, successing statements that contradicted each other. One was the thing that he said on Lex Friedman's podcast, if you saw that, him saying that if you kill a civilian in Gaza, referring to the war in Gaza, that you create 3 more terrorists or 5 more terrorists. And then during his meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu, he said that every person that hates Israel and that wants Jews be killed and Israel destroyed should be killed themselves. How do you settle those two, those two sayings, and how do you see his position on the whole war in Gaza?
So we're not looking for Elon Musk to solve, several generations problem with the Palestinian people. You need, of course, a much deeper view into things. And obviously, none of us is happy about killing civilians. This is not our goal. But what can we do when the terrorists embed themselves within civilians, in school, in mosques, in hospitals, and they shoot missiles from within the perimeters of these areas at innocent civilians in Israel? They shoot at Israeli soldiers from within these buildings. So, as much as we try not to hurt civilians, we have to shoot back at the people who shoot us. And that's the unfortunate results of a war. When the United States went into Mosul to eliminate ISIS, they flattened the whole city. They made it into a parking lot, and there were a lot of civilians that were hurt. And when the Great Britain demolished Dresden in the Second World War, 50,000 civilians were killed. And but nobody told them to do a ceasefire with the Nazis or to do a ceasefire with ISIS. And we are in that situation, and the world has to understand. If Hamas would surrender today, there would be a ceasefire immediately. We would not kill one civilian. On the other hand, if the IDF would not be here, they would kill every single Jew in Israel. So that is the difference. And for us, it's simply a no-choice situation. We have to win over Hamas. We have to eliminate it completely. Otherwise, there is no existence to Israel. And I'm sure in private conversation, it was explained to Musk.
Moshik, how would you understand the fact that Elon Musk met both the head of state, Benjamin Netanyahu, the president, President Herzog, but also he met the head of the opposition, Benny Gantz? That was a
He's
really
not.
unnecessary move.
Well, first of
Right?
all, he's not in the opposition right now. He's in the government. He
Yes,
joined
but
the
he political
emergency
opposition.
government. Yes, he considered to be, a contender. That's what a contender to
Exactly.
Netanyahu. But right now, fortunately, and I supported that, he joined the government in this emergency time, and he is part of the government, and he participates even in the war cabinet. So I view this, it's kind of a recognition from Benny Gantz, from Elon Musk's side, about the fact that Israel is a vibrant democracy. You don't just meet one person and hear from him about the country. If you went to North Korea, you would only have to meet one person. But in Israel, we have different people. They may think a little bit slightly differently, even though I think there's quite a unity right now about the goals of this war. And I'm very happy that he met all these three leaders. And it's also important from the people in Israel, the people's point of view, because there are those, to be honest, that don't really favor Netanyahu. And for them, it's quite comforting to see that Elon Musk doesn't meet just with Netanyahu. It's not his private buddy, but he came as a friend of Israel, and he meets with all these figures.
Moshik, it has been a pleasure to talk to you. With us has
Thank you.
been Moshik Kovarsky, a high-tech entrepreneur. Thank you for all the viewers for watching. Please subscribe to us on all of our social platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and all other social platforms. Have a great day, and thank you again.